Welcome to another MTD Technical Corner. Now today we're talking with Clinton from Autodesk about the CAM side of Fusion 360. This is a real deep dive into the functionality of the CAM side and also exactly how you're going to make a part like this. But first of all, Clinton, what do companies need out of a CAM system?
So I think there's lots of challenges that manufacturers are facing right now, and CAM software is just part of it, yeah? So we see in manufacturing space a real problem with skills shortage for a start. You know, to find a skilled engineer with the knowledge and the experience to be able to use CAM software is difficult. And it's not just CAM software engineers, it's a CNC machinist, it's machine setters. There's a real shortage of skilled workers. You know, there are some statistics. Within the next few years, we're going to see millions of manufacturing jobs sat vacant at the moment because we just can't find people to fill them. So definitely skills is a big one. And to that same point, it's ease of use. You know, if you're looking to use a piece of CAM software, if you're using it every minute of every day, you're going to become a power user. But the reality is most CAM users are semi-infrequent. So you need a software package that's easy to pick up, easy to use, easy to pick down and get on with the rest of your world. But the real challenges here that manufacturers are facing, I guess, it's to try and keep costs down, compress the time it takes to deliver projects. You know, cycle time's part of it, but CAM programming time's an equally important part. So what is it that we can do to automate and squeeze that delivery process down to allow manufacturers to deliver high quality components to their customers on time, every time?
Yeah, and high quality components are so important in today's day and age when you might get subcontractors making parts just like this big complex 5-axis vent component. And we're going to talk to Chris now about how he programmed this in Fusion 360 and also what was surprising about the process. Chris, I see you've got a beautiful part in your hands. What kind of part is it?
This is an oil and gas part. We were approached to benchmark this, and traditionally I would have lent towards doing this with one of our other solutions. I've got many years experience with the other Autodesk CAM solutions, but I thought, as someone who never uses Fusion, I thought, how difficult would it be for me to...
You thought you'd test yourself
a
little bit?
I thought I'd test myself. More than anything, I thought I'd test the software. And I was a bit sniffy about it. Yeah, Fusion's not going to do this. Well, let's just have a go. And you know, after the morning, I'd got this programmed
completely from scratch.
Yeah.
No experience in Fusion CAM
There's
already.
no bloat to the software. You just get results very quickly.
Okay. And let's talk into exactly what strategies you used.
I used the machining extension a lot, purely because A, it's a 5-axis part. B, there was notes on the drawing to say the part had to be fully deburred. And we have a full 5-axis, fully automated deburring strategy. The second thing was, there was a note on the drawing to say that the toolpath had to be perpendicular to the pipe. Now, to do that with a traditional CAM system is doable, but incredibly difficult. We've got a new strategy in Fusion in the extension called geodesic, and geodesic allows you to do that. So you can pick internal curves or you can pick the surfaces and it follows the shape of the part and it gives you this constant surface finish. And really the only details you have to give it are information about the machine tool, which you would already have set anyway, and the diameter of the tool. And that's pretty much it. You let the software get on with it. There's all the collision avoidance, there's all the gouge checking, job's done.
And normally 5-axis is something that people see as a bit of a barrier to entry. They might be doing a lot of 3-axis work, but they've never worked with lollipop cutters or ball nose tools, and even internal 5-axis features are normally quite complicated. How does Fusion make that a little bit easier to work with?
From a traditional CAM system point of view, you'd have to have quite an intimate knowledge of the system and quite an experienced user to do it. I didn't find that with Fusion. I found the results I was getting right away were pretty good, but not exactly how I wanted them. So traditionally I would have just got up out of my seat, walked to the other side of the office, asked a colleague how we do this, we discuss it. There's such a huge community behind Fusion. It was a 10-second Google and there was an answer, whether it was on the Autodesk Knowledge Network, whether it was on the Autodesk forums, or whether it was some YouTuber who's got a small machine shop that does that, or Instagram even. You know, it's got such a huge community that it's so easy to find an answer to quite a tricky problem. Where, you know, traditionally it would have been, you know, chipped to the other side of the office to ask one of my more experienced colleagues.
And it's wonderful to have such a great community. But aside from the community, what else do you get as a result of moving away from a traditional desktop style
Well,
application?
the big one for me, and I think anyone can empathise with this, is if a design change comes along. You know, to program that's not easy. You know, there's a lot of work in there and there's a lot of time and energy put into that. And if they change the length of the face or an angle of this face or the diameter of the bore, To reprogram that is just it's
a little bit annoying.
It's very annoying, and anyone that programs CAM will tell you that. You know, design changes are the bane of people's lives because we're parametrically linked back to the model. The model changes, the toolpaths update. Now, even as far as whether the model was modelled from scratch in Fusion using the CAD side of it, or whether it was sent to you as an IGES file, if that design change comes and for whatever reason they've sent you a step file this time, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, the topology is the same, so it will see those changes and it will update those changes and it will warn you. And if you make your customer member of the Fusion team, he doesn't even have to email you the model, he can just drag and drop it into a browser into the Fusion team and it will warn you in Fusion to say, this model's been updated. And you just click the icon, it updates the model, updates the toolpaths. Seamless.
And that is so important for reducing that time to delivering a project for
Absolutely, it's not all about cycle time, it's the time it takes to get in that part in and getting that part off the machine tool. It's that time in between to program it and engineering it and get the fixtures up and working and designed. That is equally as important as cycle time, if not more important. And if you get design change come along, it eats into that cycle time massively.
Absolutely, but changing CAM providers is not an easy task. Let's talk to Clinton now about how easy it is to get a manufacturer up and running in Fusion 360. So Chris has just explained how easy it was to program a part just like this. But it's not instant, it's not an overnight change for manufacturers to move from one CAM provider to another. How should they get up and running as quick as possible in Fusion 360?
Yeah, so obviously using a piece of CAM software is great, but ultimately it's just creating pretty pictures on screen. What really matters is outputting good quality NC code to the machine tool. How do you get there and do it safely? So for us, there's a number of areas where we sort of provide capabilities to really make that transition easy. First of all is the fact we provide free post-processors for the vast majority of different machine types out there, which is quite unique. You know, typically you'll be paying for post-processors. With Fusion, no, completely free. They're editable as well, so should you need to tweak them, you can do that. Likewise, we provide a series of very accurate 3D twins, digital twins if you like, of the CNC machines you're using. We do that by working in partnership with the likes of Haas, Mazak and many others. But it's not just post-processors and machines. We also provide access to libraries of cutting tools. So we work very closely with Dormer Pramet, with Sandvik Coromant and many others. So you can access an online library of all of the cutting tools that you're likely to use. Why does that matter? You haven't got to worry about speeds and feeds. You literally select the tool and all of that information is preloaded into Fusion. So we're trying to remove some of those barriers to stop you getting up and running with the software. Crucially, all of these strategies that we're talking about today have been tested in our technology centre in Birmingham. So you can have even more peace of mind that when you start using these cycles on your machine, they've been tried in our facility using very expensive machinery. And we want to look after your machines just like we want to look after ours.
And if that's managed to convince some of the engineers watching the technical corner today, how should they get in touch? How should they find out more about Fusion 360?
Yeah, well, hopefully, we can only show so much in this short video. There's so much more that you'd like to learn about Fusion. So, I'd recommend, scanning the QR code that's on screen now, and that will take you to a website where you can learn more about Fusion for CNC machining specifically. If you see what you like there, then I'd recommend you try it. And you can try Fusion completely free for 30 days. That will give you access to everything we've talked about today. You might want to add the machining extension to that as a slightly shorter trial period for the extension, but that gives you access to everything we've shown and what Chris has talked about today. And then when you get up and running with the software itself, you've got access to online training tutorials, you've got in-product training guides, and if you need more advanced training and configuration, we've got a global network of resellers that can help you with that as well. So yeah, I'd really recommend you scan this code, visit the website, and maybe take advantage of some of these amazing promos that we run throughout the year as well.
And you can make all the parts on the table you see here in Fusion. Make sure you check out that trial right now.